government needs to ensure that every single child has a birth certificate. That is the plea from the Consortium for Refugees and Migrants in South Africa. The organization protested outside the Home Affairs headquarters in Pretoria yesterday. The department says COVID-19 barriers and departmental delays for the slow delivery of birth certificate applications, or they're saying those must be the reasons. Home Affairs Minister Dr. Motsoaledi joins me now for more. Minister, thank you so much for joining us this evening. First question, are children born to undocumented migrants entitled to a birth certificate in South Africa?
Good evening, Tony, and good evening to the viewers and the listeners up there. I must start stating that I'm getting very angry because I think this country, South Africa, is being abused. There is a general belief that the Constitution of South Africa allows everybody from any part of the world to come here and demand, even by force, things that they desire, which they will never even try to demand in the countries where they come from. And I want to state that this must stop, because at any rate, it is not going to work. Now, people are even brazenly using political pressure and marches to try and bulldoze the Department of Home Affairs. I just want to warn that this is not going to work, because it's becoming extremely unacceptable. Now, coming to your answer, no, we are not obliged. Not everybody who is born in your country a country is obliged to give them a birth certificate. No, it's not like that. We do give them record of birth, yes. If any, birth certificates are only for South Africans. Anybody who is a South African but who is born here, we give them the record of birth. The record of birth indicate the name of the individual, indicate who their father is, it indicates who their mother is, it indicates when were they born, in what hospital in South Africa. And we expect them to take that birth certificate to the embassy of the country where they come from to obtain a birth certificate. That is what we accept, except if the person is a bona fide refugee who is under international protection, who will then be having a Section 24 certificate, that is a refugee. Or if a person is a permanent resident who has got a permanent resident permit, then their children will get birth certificate. I just want to disabuse people, because quite a number of South Africans, including a lot of people in the media, believe that simply being born in a particular country, then you deserve a right to get a birth certificate or citizenship in that country. It's not like that. It depends on what choice the country has got. And globally, there are only three choices of how you acquire citizenship and things like birth certificate. Now, if I summarize the three choices.
Now, Minister, this consortium of refugees was saying that they deny these documents. They face many challenges, such as access to healthcare and education and so forth. Where should they start if undocumented parents give birth to a child? What's the process for them?
Look, I've just summarized it. Any child who is born here and is a South African will get a birth certificate, and we prefer to issue it within 30 days of birth, and it solves most of our problems. After 30 days of birth is called late registration of birth. It has got its own problems. But anybody who is not a South African is not entitled to a birth certificate, Tony. Because a birth certificate got a South African ID. It means you're already a citizen. So not everybody is entitled to it.
Yes.
What we give them is what we call registration of birth. That is documentation. We document them by giving them registration of birth, and we expect them to go to their embassies to obtain a birth certificate of the country where they come from. But that registration of birth is a document which is recognized in law in the Republic of South Africa. And it's a bit of an exaggeration to say people don't get health care, don't get education. Let's start with education. I issued 2 years ago a memo together with the Minister of Basic Education, Minister eNCA, that we won't stop children from registering at school simply because they don't have documentation yet. We said kids must go to school and documentation will follow. At any rate, there's even a law, there's even not a law, a court case, whereby the court ruled that children must not be barred from attending school because of documentation. And with that law, I mean, that court judgment was passed just days after I've agreed with Minister eNCA. So this whole thing of lying is to manipulate public opinion against the South African state, because South Africans easily get blackmailed by the word xenophobia. Anybody who wants something South Africa, push the word xenophobia forward, and South Africans, the government must pull back. We're no longer going to do that.
Minister, just moving on slightly, looking at COVID-19, and obviously I'm sure you've had to stagger some staff in terms of some of the Home Affairs offices, the branches, so forth. How are you handling it so far? Are things running smoothly?
Yes, but let me clearly say this whole issue of children born of foreign nationals demanding a birth certificate has got nothing to do with COVID whatsoever. The issue with COVID is that sometimes when the situation is bad, we stop giving certain services simply because of the large number of people who go to Home Affairs offices and make a Home Affairs office a center where COVID is spread, So sometimes we do stop some of those services, as we have done throughout the whole of last year and some part of this year. So it has got nothing, the issue of birth certificate has got nothing to do with that. Remember, Tony, we actually lost 40 people in Home Affairs because when people come from all over, especially in families where somebody died of COVID, when they come to look for death certificates, or when they send funeral parlors for death certificate, they actually come in contact with Home Affairs officials. Some of them contract COVID and they die, and that's how we lost 40 people. So time and again, we do stop certain services, and it has got nothing to do with the fact that somebody is a foreign national or not.
Okay. We in the festive season now, and looking at there'll be a lot of travel, festive travel through the borders. Are we ready for it?
Of course we are ready, and we are happy that it's happening at the time when we have just established a border management authority. I'm sure you are aware, because I've announced it. The president at long last has appointed the commissioner of the border management authority, together with 2 deputy commissioners. They just started a month ago. They are just 4 weeks in office. And they are developing plans on how to manage our borders. Our borders are going to be actively managed, unlike in the past where they were just left to be porous. And we are going to work very hard to make sure that we manage our borders. And we are starting with this festive season.
Minister, thank you so much for joining us and clarifying that particular issue for us here on eNCA. That's Dr. Motsoaledi, the Minister of Home Affairs, Department of Home Affairs.